All right, welcome back everyone. I just wanted to go over real quick the bike that I'm going to be working on here. It's roughly a 2005 era K2 Zed 1.0, so sort of the lower end of their line. Back then it came from REI. The frame's actually pretty nice frame, all aluminum, pretty light for what it is for hardtail. I think it's a 19-inch. So my plan is to do, I call it a build because I'm going to be hopefully upgrading almost everything on it, but I guess you could call it a project conversion. But the reason I chose to work with this particular frame, like I said, it's pretty solid. It's been beat up before by me, but it seems to take abuse pretty well. So it's got a threadless headset. It has mounts on the fork and on the frame for the disc calipers if I want to go disc brakes. So I think that may be part of the project. Some nice hydraulics would be pretty cool on this. As you can see, this came standard with, I think they're Tektro V brakes from back in the day. One of the other, probably maybe even the first thing I'm going to do is some crankset work. So this is a 3x8. It's got a Sun Tour and some Shimano components. But back when I used to ride this, I bent pretty much all three of the front chain rings, and I was able to hammer them back sort of straight enough to use as a trainer. But I'm thinking about just pulling that off, replacing the bottom bracket with a new crankset and a chain ring, and try out a 1x8 setup, see how that goes. As I mentioned, the frame and the fork hold calipers for disc brakes, but the hubs do not. They don't have mounts for the discs, the disc rotors. So I'm going to have to either get new hubs, relace the wheels, or if I can find a good deal on some wheels on Amazon or eBay or somewhere local, maybe I'll pick up just a whole new wheel set for it if it seems reasonable as far as prices go. So speaking of the fork, this is called a no lean comp ATS. I actually have no idea what that is. I don't know if that's a rebranded Sun Tour or if they were just, sort of some one-offs back then of some pretty low-end forks. It's kind of like a pogo stick, but as you can see too, it's leaking pretty bad as it is. And what else? I'll probably change out some of the control components too. So if I go to a 1x8 setup and disc brakes, these current shifters are all integrated, the levers and the shifters. So those will probably have to go, and these are actually steel handlebars too. So I was thinking about it, maybe a new stem with new bars, and surprisingly these came with some lock-on grips back then. So we may reuse those even though they're still beat up. And I imagine if I ride it, it's going to get beat up more. So that's what we're looking at there. And if the 1x setup goes good and 1x8's a little bit of a struggle, then I may bump it up to a 10 or 11 speed as well, just depending on how I feel and how much I want to spend on all this project. So anyway, that's the gist of it for now, and that's the plan. So the next thing to do is it's probably going to be the 1x8 conversion. So hang tight, and I'll get started on that pretty soon. Thanks.